Warm greetings to all my viewers, and this is Jacob Samuel. And welcome once again to my YouTube channel. And for today, I wish to walk you through with a story that I have taught when I was teaching in a school in Maharashtra during the 1970s. The story is taken from the book called the Panchantantra, which means 5 books, written by Vishnu Sharman, that was once used to educate the members of the royal family. And the story goes thus. A fox and a camel enters into an agreement to carry out agricultural operations. And the agreement was this: everything that grew above the ground went to the camel, and everything that grew below the ground went to the cunning fox. And they had decided to plant groundnuts. Harvest came, and everything that grew above the ground, the leaves and the stem, went to the camel, and everything that grew below the ground, the lovely groundnuts, went to the cunning fox. The camel was disappointed and left the vicinity of the fox. A few weeks later, the fox approaches the camel once again and says, "Let us carry out agricultural operations." To which the camel now replied, "Now, this time, I will take everything that grows below the ground, and you can take everything that grows above the ground." The fox agreed, and the fox replied, "Well, I've come to understand that the groundnut cultivation is not very rosy. They are suffering from a fungal disease, and instead we will decide to plant sugarcane." The silly camel did not understand the deceit of the fox. They agreed. Harvest came. Now everything that grew above the ground, the good sugarcane, went to the fox, and everything that grew below the ground, the roots, went to the silly camel. The camel was once again disappointed and left the vicinity of the fox. A few months later, the fox once again approached the camel and said, "If you can carry me across the stream on your back, there is a very large sugarcane plantation, and you can graze in the sugarcane plantation, and in the meantime, I can dine on the crabs at the shore." The camel agreed to this and had ferried the camel across the stream. And the camel went into the sugarcane plantation and started grazing on the sugarcane. The fox, after dining on the crabs, was jealous seeing the camel still grazing in the field, went into the middle of the sugarcane plantation and started howling. The neighbors and the farmers, realizing that there is a fox in the plantation, they came with sticks only to discover a poor camel grazing in the field. They beat the camel, and the camel was driven to the shore of the stream. And there this cunning fox was waiting for the camel to ferry the fox across the stream. And the camel asked the fox, "Why did you come into the plantation?" and started to howl. And the fox replied, "Well, when I dine on crabs and when my stomach is full, it is my habit to howl." The camel was not very happy with this response, and now the fox jumped onto the camel's back, and the camel was ferrying the fox across the stream. When the camel reached the middle of the stream, the camel started rolling in water, and the fox immediately replied, "Well, I'm going to drown. Don't roll into the water. Why do you do this to me?" And the camel now replied, "Well, when I dine on sugarcane and when my stomach is full, I tell it's my habit to roll in water, and that's what I'm doing now." And the poor fox was drowned to death. Now, what do you carry home from this story from the Panchantantra? You can cheat a person once, twice, but not all the time. Thank you. Until we meet again next time, stay safe and bye-bye.